Hi, everybody, and hi, my beautiful co-host and precious cosmic sister, Corinne Mooney, all the way from Arizona, and Anne, all the way from Stockholm, Sweden. How about that? Where the polar bears are walking on the street. No, I'm just kidding. So this is another beautiful Cosmic Sistar show with Corinne and Anne, and today we'll talk about awakening the inner compass. This is a pre-recorded video that we want to have up our sleeve, so to speak, right?
Mhm.
So welcome to a sacred space where the noise of the world softens and the voice of your soul begins to rise. This journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. Beneath the layers of expectation and distraction lies a rhythm uniquely yours, waiting to be heard, felt, and followed.
Oh, yes.
So listen within. In this exploration, we'll dive deep into the art of self synchronization, where intuition meets intention and the soul becomes your truest guide. Whether you're seeking clarity, healing, or simply a moment of stillness, you're exactly where you need to be. So let's begin the journey inward. And your soul is ready. Are you?
Good question. Good question.
Just a few things before we dive deep in. Um, You can find upcoming and past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. You can find all our series at angelplaceonearth.com/series dash cosmic dash guardians. And we are currently, while we are recording this, we have made the 4 agreements as a full series, 4 parts plus a summary of all 4 parts, and we are currently now doing the Celestial Prophecy, a 12-part series, uh, originally written by James Redfield, and we are discussing the insights. And we're going to end this year sometime in November 2025 with a summary of all the 12 insights. That's going to be a big show.
Yes.
We go live for you on YouTube every week, every Wednesday at youtube.com/at Angel Place on Earth/streams. And you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, find how to connect with Corrine, how to connect with me at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And yeah, I think we are basically ready to just dive into today's topic.
Sounds good to me. So, how does this affect you? How did you come about realizing that synchronizing yourself was one of the master keys to our self mastery?
Because to walk this path in the beginning, for me at least, I was searching everything on the outside, right?
Hmm.
Reading many things, trying to educate myself, digging deep into many, many things. But also, as you evolve, you start to receive a lot of messages from within, right? So in the beginning, I were searching those messages from higher beings outside of myself still, right? Like angels, ascended masters, guides, all of that good stuff. But in essence, we have the key already within here in our heart. It's coming from here because our heart, if you think about the chakras, our heart center is the bridge
Hmm.
between the earthly chakras that are more of this world, practical things, times, and bodily things, and the higher chakras that are connecting us outside of ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So also, I learned a lot about the I am. Um,
Uh,
how, when we say the I am that I am. So when we say I am, we are basically talking to our higher self. And there are probably many names on our higher self. For me, my higher self is that very core of myself that is outside of this body, that still is not where I can have a connection with, right?
mm-hmm.
And it's living inside of me here, but it's not something I can touch because it's etheric, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
another dimension. So synchronizing self and aligning me with my soul, it became for me very, very important at a certain level because we need somehow to find a way to close the gap we have here, the gap between what the mind says, this is your body, and over there is your soul, right? Closing that gap and making it align with each other because we are not our body, we are not our mind, we are the soul or spirit. Depends
Mm-hmm.
on how one wants to express that. But it's that is the only true thing we have because and the only eternal thing we have because the body is not eternal. It is our vehicle while we are here. So we can use it. We use it in this world and we have it for the purpose of having an appearance here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the soul, you can see the soul, but you need a little bit of training maybe to see the soul, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes good sense. And I love your your line of thought here because uh, some of our great teachers, um, like Greg Braden and Joe Dispenza, are actually scientifically showing what we're talking about. Um, I refer to that connection as the oneness, uh, to the creation of all things, and that is the 99% that is missing when people say we only use 10% of our brain. Our brain is actually only a vehicle to allow the connection between our heart and the oneness. And it moves through the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is like this, it actually looks like a pine cone. And you'll see that pine cone in a lot of places of power because they know that that's like the uh, connector and the sender to that vastness that is really our soul. And
Yes.
um, and by making that connection, this is what we are here to reestablish. And as you said, we're not reinventing ourselves, we are reconnecting, and we are
Yes.
understanding that we are more than we are.
Exactly. And also aligning with your soul means for me to become our authentic self
Oh, yes.
because that is our authenticity. Whatever we are learning here, that is kind of for this world, you know.
Hmm.
It's not always the truth, but the soul carries the truth.
We it when you connect to that, and we've done many podcasts that are very similar because the root of what we're speaking about is very similar. reconnecting with our soul, finding our authentic self, finding what it is that invites us to do what we came to do. And there was an interesting thing that I heard the other day. When people are trying to decide to do this or to do that, have you taken time to ask yourself the question, what do you want? What is what your soul wants? And
Yeah.
we often put that aside because that's trivial. But you cannot ask for and prepare for what you don't want. And I have an instance with when my house burned down. A year before that happened, I had put an indication on I just wrote on my bathroom mirror that I want Rocky, a friend of mine, to build me my castle, and I'll have all new furniture and all new appliances. I forgot to change the address. A
Yeah.
year later, almost a year later to the date, it was like my number came up, and the powers that be said, "Well, she wants her healing center, but she hasn't given us a whole lot of information. But we're going to go on what she wanted was just to have this building and have new furniture." My house burned down,
Yeah.
and and my wonderful friend Rocky did build me a sanctuary. And over that period of time, it was a year before I got back into it. He had expanded my small little house and made it so I can teach here. In this great room, I can get 40 people in the great room to teach. And I never knew what his company name was called. And then at the very end of the build, he said, could he put a sign up so people would know he built the house? His company was called Castle Builders.
Yeah. How about that?
So knowing what you want when you reconnect to your divine soul,
Yeah.
that's part of learning how to synchronize with yourself.
Exactly. And that's fascinating. And talking about manifesting things, right? There's a
Hmm.
tendency many times to give up beforehand because we are, as human beings, generally, speaking very generally now, a little
Yes.
bit impatient. So we
Oh
think
no.
that, okay, a day passed, a week passed, a month passed, nothing happened. But for you, it took a year. And I
Hmm.
manifested also a house in Greece.
Yes.
But my manifestation was at a piece of land that is very nearby. It's close by. It's just over the road from where the house actually came to be, to be sitting, right?
Yes.
And the house is bigger than I did expect.
Yes. Always.
And yes, it took slightly more than a year for me. But we do manifest if we focus on it, if we don't hang on to it, we don't worry about it, we let it come, it's going
Mhm.
to come. And very often it's going to be way better than we have been expecting.
That is very, very true. And there was a story that I heard once about this little boy that his wagon broke, and so he gave it to God and said, "My wagon broke, fix it." And God says, "Okay." And God was going to fix the wagon, but then the little boy keeps saying, uh, "But put the wheels on there. Don't forget the handle and everything else." Had he allowed the divinity, the great power to create, he would have come back with a carriage instead of just a little wagon. So we limit ourselves by putting in, oh, but you've got to do it this way and that way. Put in what you desire. And like I said, I forgot to put a new location Otherwise, I would probably be living in a different neighborhood. But I forgot to put the location I wanted. Um, but then allow, and allowing is such a great part of being in synchronicity,
Mm.
and listening to what our soul is telling us, connecting to the divine, whatever we call it, and then allowing the process, and not,
Yes,
you know, poking the bear. We don't have to keep poking the bear because the bear is doing a great job.
yes. And if you think more specifically about it, we do manifest each and every day, all the time.
Hmm.
But many times we manifest those things that we do not desire because
That's
we
right.
are living in here and we are worrying
Hmm.
about things, and we put our nose into something and we say, okay, this is what I really would desire, but that's not possible. Why wouldn't it be possible? If we
That's
are
right.
infinite beings, then we are the authority together with the divine. Divine, by the way, lives in here. It's not out there,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
something else interesting, and I've done this too. I used to pray and ask for guidance and help and everything outside of myself, right? But
That's
it's
right.
not coming. If you align with your soul, you receive it directly.
That's
It's no
exactly right.
question about it. You don't need to focus on a specific being. It is coming through you anyway, right?
Hmm.
And you just claim it because you know you can. It's a difference. But we have been taught that we are supposed to pray and be very, very humble, almost, sitting on our knees,
Yeah. Bow
praying.
down. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And if I've been a good person, then I'm allowed to have it coming to me. If I have been a bad person, uh, it's probably not going to come because I have done a sin or something, right? But that's in my world, that is only um, something wrong. It's not true. It's not
Yes.
true because if we can align with our true self, our soul, then we can live and walk a path of authenticity, a fulfilling and joyful life. And the essence of soul alignment at its heart, soul alignment is about connecting with yourself, of who we truly are, and expressing this essence in every facet of our lives, right? So we need to believe. Here's one other kicker. I think I love this topic actually. Uh, something else that's very important. In order for us to step outside of what we think we know, what we think we perceive, right? Perception.
Hmm.
We need to stretch ourselves outside of that a little bit. And that's a process. It takes a little bit of a time each and every time. Having the courage, having the boldness, and believing that we can. I always say, I have a big mouth. So I say, if he or she can, then I can. Why not? Right? Who are
Exactly.
they and who am I? Right? But
Exactly.
if I believe that I am restricted, I believe that I'm not enough. That is the first thing someone needs to work on. Because if I have that belief, I'm stopping myself.
Very, very much so. And when we're speaking about manifesting, yes, our heart's desire, but if we are manifesting a relationship, there's a big difference because we can manifest what we would love to desire, but we are not going to be able to manifest that that person is going to fill our desires, because we
Yeah.
have free will. They have free will. And all of our pondering, then it becomes obsessive. It doesn't become a manifestation. Rather to say, I am open to the relationship that is going to be for my highest good and bring me the greatest joy, whatever that looks like, rather than
Yes.
saying, that person is my person and I'm going to manifest and I am going to focus on getting that person.
Yeah.
This is not true manifestation, because it is not it is not for our highest good, and it is definitely interfering with another person's
Yeah.
uh, life. And so
I, I,
learning to do that, yeah.
yeah, I would stretch myself. So when we are interfering with someone else's free will, I have a very rude way, a strong way of expressing that. It's
Hmm.
like a spiritual rape.
It is.
Yes, it is, because I am not, if I'm doing that, it's like I say, I know what's best for that person, and that person, the best for them is to be with me. And
Exactly.
maybe it is not. And it's egoistical. We have soul connections with a lot of souls. There are different energy in each and every soul connection, and therefore we feel differently for each and every soul,
Hmm.
right? It
Yes.
doesn't always mean that because we meet here, everything is going to be pink and roses and we're going to live together as a married couple or whatever,
Yes.
happily ever after. Sometimes someone else comes here together with us and we meet up to play a role for us, not to punish us, but for us to dig dig within and find something that we need to see, right? So
Yeah.
it's not about um, having a hard time. And I think that if we align with our soul in an authentic way, we don't have the need for a specific person.
That's right.
We are not here to be alone, but we will attract the one close to us that can interact with us and align with us. That's
Hmm.
different, very different.
Very, very. And I watch the relationships, and I hear people talking about the different relationships. And as we said, that's not coming from your authenticity. That's not coming from the soul's desire. That's coming from the need that we feel we have to fill, a feeling of unworthiness, a feeling of um, that this is the important thing for me, rather than staying in tune with what you're divinely guided, because that is not going to say you have to encapsulate another human being. And I mean, I really have a lot to do with just taking care of myself. I really don't think I could run somebody else's life, and I would not want to. But this is the difference between being uniquely authentic and
Yes.
being in the world of need and want and uh, competition. And this is not a happy place to be.
No, and there's something else connected with that too. As long as we are over the top focused on a specific person, so if we cannot get that person, we are going to be unfulfilled and unhappy. As long as we are in that state, in that mindset or
Yes,
energy, we are not going to attract them, because who wants to be with a needy person? No one.
exactly, exactly. And a person's energy will stay in our field, and especially with a woman. When you're with a man, their energy will stay in your energy field even after you're not with that person. and other people can feel it. You may not be aware of it, but there again, I loved it when we spoke the other day, and you talked about taking a soul shower, getting in
Yeah.
there and letting go of all of the debris that's accumulated, and taking care of uh, our spiritual authenticity
Yeah.
and
And hygiene,
and
spiritual
hygiene.
hygiene,
I love that. What was the spiritual
spiritual
hygiene?
hygiene.
I love
Yes.
that. Yes, that was perfect. Yes, yes,
Because we are so good at taking care of what clothes am I putting on? How am
exactly.
I looking? Am I brushing my teeth, washing my hair, my face,
Yes.
washing my hands, taking a shower? But we don't really think that it's important to take care of the energy, and that's equally important, specifically if we are walking this path. It's
Exactly.
not about stepping into fear or anything, but we need to be aware of our energy. How else can we evolve?
And that's what this is all about, is our soul is our energy. And when we are connecting to our higher self, and it is not outside of it is that we just need to reconnect with it. It's all around us. We just
Yeah.
feel that we've been taught that you have to go talk to this person or do this or wear that in order to be connected. And you don't. It's going within. And
Yes.
you're talking about intentions here. And long before I realized that I was walking a different path, um, and wonderfully, my divorce allowed me to become who I am. Excuse me. Let me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I did not do my homework here. I apologize.
That's
But
okay.
when my husband actually physically left the house, um, I woke up the next morning, and yes, there was a void. There was a, but it wasn't loneliness. It was. I got up and I said, I can choose whatever I want to. And
Yeah.
then I said, what do I want? And
Yeah.
I had for 23 years been doing what everybody else wanted. And I honestly could not think about what I wanted. And then I realized that I have this whole brand new book with nothing written on the pages, and I can write on the pages. And if you don't really find that intention, you cannot have an intention. So, taking the time to connect with your authenticity and synchronizing with your soul and saying, what does the world want me to say I want? And what is it that my soul wants?
Exactly. And I want to say something because I also write, and it's like when I started off, I had an idea, a perception of what automatic writing is. So I was sitting with my pen and paper and I was waiting for the pen to move itself. Because that was how I thought it should be, right? It's coming a
Yes.
spirit, and the spirit is going to move the pen for me. And that can absolutely happen too, right? But for
Mhm.
most people, it's like when you start to write, don't bother to have a correct grammar or spelling the words correctly or whatever, right?
No.
Just write whatever comes. And when you get into the flow, for me, actually, because I'm a fast person, so it fits very well to sit and write on a laptop. And it just comes, you
Yes.
know. It's not a question, it's writing fast enough. And it's
That's true.
interesting, and you can correct that thing afterwards if you would like. And sometimes you want also to keep the notes as they are. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And
You
this
can if you have a phone, yes. you can record it if that's working for you. Anyway, is going to be fine. It's like a way of channeling things. It's
Yeah.
coming from you, from your soul, your pen.
Yeah, mine is the actual physical writing. And when this started happening to me, and all of a sudden it would be like you answered the phone and you have to take notes, and I would be anywhere. I would grab a piece of cardboard, whatever that I could write on, and something I was writing with crayons, whatever I could. And I started to go, maybe I should just start taking this with me, because inspiration comes when it comes. And so I have gone into places like the doctor's office and said, may I have a piece of paper? Because as I was driving, something came, and you need to get it on paper. And I've been doing this, for maybe 50 years, didn't really realize what it was. And I've kept all these little.
You froze. Are you there? Let us see if Karine is coming back
Place,
with us. Yeah,
you
you
know,
you you froze. You froze. Can you
I'm
please say
sorry.
again?
Where
That's
where
okay.
where where did I freeze? But just being able to write it down. And my crew always seems to like to wake me up about 4:44 in the morning. And I wrote a whole program on putting intimacy back in relationships at 4:44 in the morning. And so it's like I need to glue this to my fingers, because when it comes,
Yeah,
honor it. And don't, as you said, don't try to understand it. Don't try to punctuate it. Just get the words down. And I am very clear when I rewrite something. If I can't read the word that I've scribbled, I will make sure I use exactly the same word, because profound direction and divine guidance has a way of using words that we have no concept of. And
exactly.
the phrasing is different than I would write it. And so I honor that in the energy that was put on the paper, and the frequency in which it came, and the vibration that it creates when you read the words in that sequence,
Yes.
that's important.
Yeah, it is important. Plus something else. It's good to write it down when it comes, because many times, because it's channeled, it's intuitive, it's something that 1 minute passes and we forgot.
Believe me. There's been times, as we've been doing a podcast, and a thought will come to me, and I'll say, Anna, please write that down in the middle of the conversation, because I know that it's not going to be again. And
Yes,
and I think we've done a lot of podcasts on these little tweaks that come up. And
yes,
but learning to appreciate that, and staying, it will happen when you learn to synchronize with your soul.
yes,
when you
exactly.
when you begin to trust that it is coming from the highest good for you, when you are able to not try and make it fit into the world vernacular and into the world around you, and tweak it by saying, well, I need to say this word instead of that word. Listen, because this is pure. This is you speaking to you.
Yes. And the opposite side, how we can recognize signs of misalignment.
Right.
That's also important, right?
It is
So
very much so.
feeling out of alignment, like everything else, it can manifest in in many different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you might feel drained, experience persistent negativity, like I'm stuck,
Yeah.
a sense a subtle yet pervasive feeling of being off course, like we are not on the right track, right?
Mm-hmm.
These signs are your soul's way of signaling that it's time to realign and reconnect with your true path. And because we are, the beautiful thing is that when we align with our soul, if we are off course a little bit, we are in our power and we can always correct that path.
Yes.
So the choice is ours. It's not out there. It's not a spirit coming and telling us what to do. I would seriously question that, because if
Oh,
if
yes.
something comes and tries to force you, that's not from the light. It's not from love. It's not from the divine.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Right? Nothing out there that is from the divine is ever going to force you to do anything that you don't want to do. And I've been there too, when okay, all of a sudden I can pick and choose whatever I want. What do I want?
That's right.
And, give yourself time. Start off with doing things that you just feel drawn to. This is what I just feel for right now in this moment. And of course, in this earthly life, our lives contain some things that we kind of have to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to support ourselves. We have to eat to hold up
Yes.
the healthy body. There are things we need to do, keep a clean environment and stuff of that nature, but you can do it with joy, you know.
Yes.
Um, and if you could pick and choose, just daydream. That's a wonderful way. We are
Oh, yeah.
told that it's silly to daydream, but daydreaming, it's a part of manifesting, because you envision things.
Yes.
And if I could just daydream without having any kind of frames or boundaries or whatsoever, what would I like to do? And give yourself credit for each and every step you're taking. Everything is a process. Nothing is ever a 30-day quick fix, right? Takes a
That's
little bit
right.
of time. Be
That's
patient.
that's right. And I spent my entire childhood uh, being yelled at. Karine, stop daydreaming. Get that done. Karine, what are you doing? Where are you? And I had no idea that I was in those moments divinely connected and in complete synchronicity with my soul. And everyone comes in prepared to be that way. But society tells us no, tries to and does separate us from that connection. And our gift to ourselves is to realize that it's not gone. It's just been tucked away, and
Yes.
reaffirm it. And
Yes.
this is
It
beautiful, beautiful.
it is beautiful. And, a few steps, just like suggestions, right? To align with your soul, self-reflection. Don't
Hmm.
be afraid of reflect on yourself, um, good or bad, shadows or light sides, right?
Yes, yes.
You just embrace everything and begin by taking time to reflect on your life. Where are you at? Do you feel comfortable? Would you like to change something? What are your core values? And that's an interesting thing, because people who say that they have a lot of integrity, they state that they have 100 core values. But usually, if we narrow them down and we get rid of those things that doesn't really matter that much, we are left with a handful.
Hmm.
So try to figure out Are they my values? Are they coming from my family? Is this something I have been taught from society? What is it, right? And what brings you joy?
That's right.
Identifying what brings you joy and the self-reflection and your values and everything, it can provide clarity and what truly matters to you, right? What is really important to you, not
Hmm.
the color of the clothes you're wearing, right? Or the color of your hair, or that specific makeup they are making commercials about, right? But
Hmm.
for you, mindfulness and meditation. And like we said before, you don't always need to sit in deep meditation. You can meditate by breathing, walking to the store. If you are in your own energy, I think that is the core thing. Being in your own energy, that connects you with yourself, right?
Hmm.
And this can help you to tune into your own wisdom, your soul's wisdoms. And you can use techniques as well, um, whatever works for you, right?
Hmm.
Embrace your passions.
Oh, yes.
They are, because what you are passionate of doing, that's usually something that you're good at doing, right? So it's a clue. Find a way to have that in your life on a regular basis, right?
Hmm.
Engage in activities that ignite your passion and creativity. It doesn't really mean what others think, if they like them or not. It's their thing, it's not your thing. What do you like? And set intentions. Clearly define your intentions and goals, and they may differ all the time. As you evolve, they are going to differ.
Yes.
Aligning your actions with these intentions can create a harmonious flow in your life, drawing you closer to your destiny. And I'm not really fond of the word destiny because it's
Yeah.
not written in stone. We don't have a destiny in that sense. So, yeah, maybe I should express that in a different way. But I said destiny. But you're where you are heading.
Yes.
And always remember that you can correct your path, right?
Yes.
And seek support. Sometimes the journey to soul alignment can be challenging, and not many talks about that, but I think a lot of people have heard the dark night of the soul. In my perception, that is when you empty everything so much so you can feel that you are at the bottom and you don't really know who you are any longer, or who what you think about things. But to empty everything you have been taught is a beautiful thing. It doesn't feel comfortable, but I promise you're going to come out of it. If you are in resistance, like I was, you're going to remain there for a little longer time because you are stubborn and in resistance, right? If you just accept this is how it is right now, what can I bring into my life instead, and focus on that part. Sometimes, because it can feel heavy, it's a good thing just to say, okay, I accept where I am at. Doesn't mean this is the place I want to be, but because this is how it looks right now, this moment. If I do that, I stop resisting. And that is the point, right? So when we are stopping the resistance, we can move forward. Oh gosh, I talk a lot.
Oh, that was beautiful, though. As I'm listening to the words, something came to me when you were saying something about the word destiny, and
Yeah,
we did a whole thing about words. What if we started using the word possibilities instead of destiny? So every time we were
yeah,
going to say destiny, we would say possibilities, and then that just
yes,
whoops, that opens it up and doesn't
yes.
doesn't finalize it, and
Possibilities and opportunities. Yes,
yes. And we we are the most incredible, gifted beings. We're very young in the universe. We really are. But we are at this cusp of really stepping into our potential and stepping into all of the wonderful connections that we do have. And these little things that we're talking about will assist you in being able to see what you are capable of. Um, and I was wondering, we did a show on sacred space, and I had written a
Yes.
poem about it. Do you think maybe this would be a good place for me to read that poem again?
Yes. Fantastic.
Okay, then I will, because everything that we do is in synchronicity and it all
Yes.
comes back. So here is sacred place. And when we begin to realign with our soul, going into our sacred space is essential. Where is my place of solitude? Where is my special place? Where do I go for sanctuary? Where is my sacred space? I seek my inner sanctuary. I feel a longing to connect, a place beyond time and space, a time to pause and reflect. In the chaos and the congestion of the world around, where in this confusion may my soul rebound? The need to complete and compete and make it to the top. We keep running, afraid to stop. We are consumed with the feeling of despair. How can I find my way back? How can I become aware? In this world, I feel I've lost my place, always racing, doing, running to complete the race. I remember my solace deep within my being, beating within my heart. This is my true sanctuary. From this place I will never depart. I reconnect to the stillness within and open my heart and let the peace begin. For within my soul lies all I seek, my sanctuary, my sacred space. I go within, for there lies the key to my special place. Where is my solace? Where is this place? Deep within my heart lies my secret space.
That's beautiful. Fantastic. And you know, it makes one start to ponder about a lot of things. And that's the purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to go back to the word also destiny. If you think of the poem now and you think of the word destiny, right? We are not destined to one single thing.
Oh no.
No, we have our power in choices. And that is also karma, right? Choices and consequences of the choices we make.
Yes,
And not to punish ourselves because sometimes we take a little side road and we encounter something, we learn something, and we realize, that wasn't the right path for me. So
that's
I
right.
come back and I redo and I try something else, right? But we always, always, always have a choice. So if I say to myself, I am destined to, I take away my power. That's the essence of that, right?
Yeah. Nothing was ever created or brought to life without first eliminating all the things that did not work. And somehow we as humans feel that we are blundering, but there again, we're taught that we're not worthy, that when we make mistakes we're stupid, and so on and so forth. But every inventor, every writer, everybody that has done a manuscript or done art will find, well, that didn't work, so let's tweak it. That nose is a little bit too big, so let's carve that off a little bit. That sound did not harmonize with the other sounds, so let's change it. So understanding that the process is what makes us great, and
Yes.
and being able to embrace that without self-condemnation, and without that, well, if I'm not perfect right now, I'm going to lose this or do that. There again, that competition, going
Yes.
into your sacred space and saying, well, let's see if we have another avenue.
Yeah.
This is
Or
beautiful.
yes, it is beautiful. And for instance, uh, feeling like a failure in relationships because you didn't get that person that you are aiming for or you are focused on, right? It
Right.
doesn't mean that it's personal. It's not anything wrong with you. Neither them, right? But
Correct.
maybe you are not in alignment. You may have a soul connection, but you may not be in alignment.
That's right.
It's not, following this path also means that you don't need to worry so much about what's going to come. You read the moment and the energy in the moment, and you can see, okay, no, I turned left there. That wasn't really, I don't feel that was the right choice. So I take a step back and take my time breathing, being with myself, and then I can determine what my next step and what direction that will be, right?
Hmm. Yes. There again, as we are suggesting, the way to navigate that is going to give you the least resistance and allow you to embrace whatever circumstances come up is being in synchronicity with your soul,
Yeah.
being in your authentic soul, being in your highest power, and allowing for the possibilities.
And all of those people who usually say, what if? Yeah, what if? What if, on a positive note, if you navigate step by step instead of pre-planning ahead and saying, that's my goal, that person over there, that specific job, that thing over there. You just take one step at a time. It takes a little bit of courage. It's a different way of living, but it's so much more beautiful
Hmm.
because, like we said before, we are not destined to a certain destiny.
That's
Nothing
right.
is written in stone
Yeah.
because when we have that mindset, we are taking away our own personal power. We have our personal power. Living with your personal power and aligning with your soul means that you go along the way. You are in the flow. There are so many ways of expressing it, right? It's beautiful.
Exactly. And embracing that there is a joy, there is a pure joy that comes when you know that you are being true to yourself. And it doesn't come from buying this or seeing that or being with or looking like what you think you should. It comes from within. It is the joy that you see when a baby laughs, and they laugh. I mean, you could be rubbing your nose and they just giggle, giggle, giggle. You could be wiping a countertop and that just sends them into it because they live in joy and they are able to respond in joy. And when you get to that point in your life where you create your own joy, you're not looking outside of yourself. And that doesn't mean And I say this with great honesty. My life is not just peaches and cream every single day. I have human experiences that I came to experience. I have human aches and pains. I have human, um, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? But I have tools that are going to make it so I can navigate through it without all the bumps and bruises. And this is the beauty. This is the beauty.
Yeah, it is a beauty because sometimes things happen and, we can't really change things that are currently happening many times, right?
That's
But
true.
we can work on our response. Now, I have a good example. Last year when I broke my leg,
Oh,
okay?
yes.
First reaction, I don't have time for this.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. I don't have time for this, really. Anybody out there, right? But sometimes we just find ourselves in a situation where we can just accept. It
Hmm.
doesn't mean that I say I like where I am, because I didn't like where I ended up. But I said, I do what I can with what I currently have, and I'm going to look forward.
Yes. And it's interesting because um, I think you and I are very comfortable living in the now. And when something like that happens, it's almost as if, well, I did not take the time to do this because I kept putting it off and putting it off. And now the universe is saying, I'll provide it for you. So
Yeah.
and having that kind of an attitude instead of fighting against it, and your recovery from the type of injury that you had was miraculous. When I
Yes,
saw your x-rays, I didn't want to tell you what the
I know.
norm would be because I knew you were not the norm. And I knew that with your attitude and with your stubbornness and with your tenacity, that you would take this time and you would recover far quicker and far more advanced than other people that would be fighting it and saying, why me, what am I going to do, what are we going to do? And each time that it came time for the podcast, we adjusted to what it was.
Yes,
We didn't stress it. We didn't go, oh my god, the world
no,
is coming to an end. And that's the difference with living within the synchronicity of your
yes,
authentic self,
yes,
because we realize that this is part of the experience. And
yes, it is. But you know what? Along with that experience of mine, um, another realization that I did, I knew because I had this feeling I shouldn't jump up on the bike that I did, right? But I did it anyway because I'm stubborn. I said I'm going to do it
you can
because
do it.
I've been biking my entire life, but things change, like for everybody else, right? We are walking this human experience as well, along with the spiritual path. So if I
Exactly.
had listened to myself, uh, I wouldn't have broken my leg. But it's no use when you find yourself in a situation to punish yourself. That's not going to help, right? So it is in your attitude towards where
It
you are.
is. And I mean, my goodness, lady, you had this experience in front of four surgeons in Sweden, where breaking legs is a kind of a national hobby, and they have the best of the best of the best. So it was like, okay, I've got to have this experience, so let's make it the best I can. Let's bring in the get the crew there, and it was if I were writing a what is it, one of these comedies, I would put all of these aspects in place, as you stumble and fall, then there's somebody there with Kleenex and somebody. I mean, it was
Yeah.
if it
And
had to
three,
be,
three,
it was
three
done very well.
doctors, three doctors
Three doctors
waiting
all
with me.
sitting right there. I mean, and then they jumped up and they were right there as you were laying on the ground. And I'm thinking, I couldn't have written a better script. Um, I mean, yes.
And it's something else funny because the surgeon, the doctor at the hospital came to me and said, yeah, there were some complicated fractures, not one, fractures, multiple.
There's many. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, yeah, sure. And I said to my friends, I'm out of here in a few days.
Yes. And I was encouraging you, but I also knew that a few days was going to be maybe a little longer.
Yeah, slightly longer, yes.
But that's I think that is our gift to ourselves, is being connected to our soul and
Yeah.
staying in the flow and staying in the now, that when we are experiencing life as we asked to do, we chose to come here and experience this, but we are given the lubricant, we are given the love and the care, that we can move through these things relatively simplistically.
Smooth. Yeah, exactly. And like everybody else, everybody's going through things. And I learned actually from childhood. I developed my own way of coping with things. So whenever I've been finding myself in a challenging situation, sometimes horrible, other times less horrible, but still challenging, right? I've always been thinking, okay, in a few months from now, or in a year from now, or a few weeks, or whatever, this is going to be a memory. So just hang in there.
Yeah, yeah. And that takes that real, um, well, that really takes that connection, and knowing that we are much more than the situation around us.
Yes,
And
no,
yes, it's beautiful. Yes.
it is beautiful. And it's fantastic. I don't have any questions for you today. How good, how
Um,
nice, right?
well, good.
My
I,
goodness.
I I was wondering why my seat wasn't warming up. I was getting ready for the hot seat, but that's okay because I think this allows people to form their own questions, and I encourage people to do that, because not questioning with the fact that I'm not good enough or anything else, but questioning with how can I get closer to myself? How can I become my authentic self? How can I start knowing when I'm living in the now? How can I recognize when this is not my divine guidance?
Yes, exactly. And a lot of people are searching for their purpose. But what if our purpose is just to align with our soul and merge the gap that we have from
Exactly.
being a human, having a human experience, and thinking that it's a separate thing from our soul, right? Aligning those things, merging, um, and just doing our best. And we talked about our best from the four agreements. Our best is going to be different. It's not going to be equal every day. Uh, and we try always as human beings, most of us, maybe not everyone, but most of us, try to do even better, a betterment, right? That's
Yes.
okay. That's perfect. But don't get stuck. If you have a day where you if you would judge yourself, you feel that you didn't do as much as you did a week before, because it's okay. You still did your best.
Yes. And believe me, um, recognizing that and embracing it has really gotten me through this journey of each time that the body is saying, okay, we're going into another stage. And I go, I like the stage we were on. Why do we need to change stages? And the body says, oh, well, because you wanted the experience. And I'm going to look at my contract next time because I don't think I'm going to enjoy this experience.
Read the fine part, right?
Ah, yes, yes, yes. Well, I was an eager soul, and I said I can do it all, and uh, and I'm
Exactly.
stubborn. I'm stubborn enough to do it.
I did the same. Believe me. So, lady, are we coming to soon wrapping it up a little bit, you think?
I think we touched on some beautiful things today, and I feel we have given a lot of seeds for people to plant and
Yes.
nourish and see how they grow for them. So, yes, I am ready to say Sonara.
Okay. Just going to say a few things before, right? Like
Absolutely.
always. The talker here. You can find all our past and upcoming episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. And talking a little bit about our 12-part series of where we dive into the insights of the four, no, the Celestial Prophecy. I'm mixing things up here. Originally written by James Redfield, and
Hmm.
we are currently streaming that series. We are going to do part 10, I think, next time, if I'm correct, or 9, maybe.
Nine,
Don't
nine.
don't remember. But anyway, it's this is a pre-recorded thing, so we don't know when we stream this one. And we currently have two series, the Four Agreements and the Celestial Prophecy. You can find more information about us. You can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, and many more things at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And we always go live on youtube.com/at angelplaceonearth/streams, slashes and dashes. And we always stream the replay after the show at facebook.com/cosmic guardians. Now we come to the wonderful part where we are summoning up things here. And returning to the center, this is what basically we have been talking about to ourselves, right? To our core. As we close this chapter of inner exploration, remember the journey of aligning with your soul is not a destination, it's a rhythm, a dance, a sacred remembering. Each breath, each choice, each moment of stillness brings you closer to the truth of who you are. And let this be your invitation to continue listening deeply, loving fiercely, and living authentically. The soul doesn't shout, it whispers. And when you're in sync, even silence becomes a symphony. Until next time, may your path be illuminated by the light from within you. And with infinite love, peace, and joy from me, what do you say, Corinne?
I say to add laughter to everything that we have said and allow that inner joy to just bubble up and know that you are loved, you are seen, and you are appreciated.
Namaste. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.